Started in lesson 3. This is another geometry lesson. It's perimeter and circumference. So let's just jump right in. The perimeter is the measure or distance around. So example 1 says find the perimeter of this figure. So we're going to find the distance around the figure. All angles are right angles and dimensions are in inches. So what we're going to do is you can start in one place and just make your way around. I'm going to start with the 4 and go counterclockwise, and I'm just going to write them down. 4 plus, and then I'm going to add the 9, and then the 15, and I'm just going to go around like this. 9 plus 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5. And I'm going to add those all together, and when you add them together you get 58. And you need to put units on. Anytime there are units in the problem, you need to put units in the answer. It's in inches, so we put inches. If you don't put the units, you'll miss 1 point out of 5 on the test. So on your homework, make sure you always put the units on. That way when you get on a test, it'll be second nature for you. Okay, a few definitions to work our way through. This lesson is a little bit longer than the previous one, so be patient and I'll try to go as quickly as possible. You can always rewatch these videos if you want. So every point on a circle, we're going to talk about circumference, and circumference is basically the perimeter of a circle. We'll get to that in a minute. Every point on a circle is the same distance from the center of the circle. That's kind of cool. So let me just draw a circle. Let's have something to talk about here. There's a circle, and let's put it the center of a circle. So I'm going to aim for the center. I might not get it quite right. All right, so every point on the circle out here on the circle is the same distance from the center of the circle. This distance from the center to a point on the circle is called the radius. Radius. The diameter, so let me draw the radius in here. This is the radius. It goes from the center of the circle to any point. It's always going to be the same anywhere around. So if I draw it from here to here, it's going to be the same. That is the radius. So I'm going to put these little marks to say that they're the same distance. The diameter, so that would go in this blank. I should have left more space to write. The diameter of the circle is twice the length of the radius. So if we continue this radius through the circle, that's called the diameter. From this point right here to this point right here is called the diameter. We call the perimeter of the circle the circumference. Circumference of the circle. So the whole distance around is called the circumference, and this is kind of a cool fact, I think. It takes approximately 3.14 diameters to go all around the circle. It doesn't matter how big the circle is. So I can take this diameter that we just made and lay it around the circle. It's going to go around approximately 3.14 times, and that number is actually 3.14 is what we call pi, and that's pi. And we're talking approximately. So if you have to round your numbers, we use this symbol, which means approximately. So if you see me use that, that means approximately. The exact number of times the diameter will go around the circle is called pi, which I just said, which is an irrational number. If you remember, an irrational number is a number that goes on and on and on and on and on without repeating. So pi goes on and on and on forever and never ends. In this course, we're going to use 3.14 to represent pi, especially since you're not going to be using your calculators in the beginning. Later, when we use our calculators, you can just push the pi button on your calculator. All right, so back to circumference. To figure out the circumference of a circle, this is the formula right down here. It's pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter. Or sometimes we say, this is the circumference of a circle. Sometimes I do that like a circle. I'll put the shape down there. Or it's 2 pi r, because the two radii is how you'd say it, makes a diameter. So let's go to the next slide and try some examples. All right, here we go. It says the radius of a circle is 3 centimeters. Find the circumference of the circle. I suggest every time you do a problem with area or circumference, you write the formula down before you start. So we can say circumference equals 2 pi r. That's the one I tend to use, 2 pi r, rather than pi times diameter. I think they give you your radius more often than they give you the diameters. So we just plug it in. So we say C equals 2 pi, and r is 3 centimeters. So where the r is, we're going to put a 3. and we're going to get equals 6 pi. You can either leave it like that, of course we're going to put the units on it, or you can multiply 3.14 times 6. Now the benefit of doing the multiplication is the back of the book most likely doesn't have pi in it. It would be all written out like this, which would be 18.84 centimeters. I will take either of these answers on a test. You can either leave the pi in or you can multiply the pi out. Let's try another one. This one's a little different. It says the circumference of a circle is 24 meters. Find the radius. So we're working backwards. Again, write the formula down, because that way it'll help you to remember it, and it'll just help when doing these problems. So circumference equals 2 pi r. This time they didn't give us r, instead they gave us a circumference. So I'm going to replace the c for circumference with 24. So we get 24 equals 2 pi r, and we're trying to figure out what r is. This problem is a little bit advanced because we haven't learned how to solve equations. But basically we're just going to divide both sides by the 2 pi. Most of you have had equations some point in maybe in pre-algebra. So the 2 pi's cross out, and you could just leave this answer for right now. They haven't really taught you how to do this. So it's going to be 3.82 meters. And if you leave it in this form, make sure you put meters by it. I'm sure you're going to have questions on this kind. Just substitute it in and divide both sides by the 2 pi. All right, that one's a little tricky. All right, example 4, we have a shape. I actually put it in there. I didn't draw it this time. Find the perimeter of the figure. Now this shape is a rectangle with a half a circle. So we're going to have to find the area of the rectangle, and then we're going to find the area of the half circle. So with the rectangle, we need the area of a rectangle is length times width. So we have the length of the rectangle right here. We just need this width. And the way we can get the width is, see this radius in the circle? If we straightened it up like this, it would be 3, right? And if we put it down, it would be 3. So this side of the rectangle is 6. So we can get the area of the rectangle by taking length times width, and we're going to get 60. So now we have to find the area of a half a circle. So we have area of a half of a circle. Let's see if I can draw that somewhat like a half a circle. We're doing perimeter. Duh, sorry guys. Just realized we're doing perimeter. Okay, same idea. This time we're going to have a 10 up here and a 6 over here. Now we're not going to count this line right here because our perimeter actually goes around this circle. So let's work on getting the perimeter. So we have 10 at the top plus 6 is the width plus 10 is the bottom. So we're adding this plus half of a circle. So the formula for a circle is 2 pi r, but we're going to divide it in half. So it's 2 pi r, and r is 3, divided by 2. So that's going to cancel out. We add this up, we're going to get 26 plus 3 pi. And if you want to leave it like that, just put parentheses around it and put inches on it. If you want to multiply it all out, even though you don't have calculators yet, you can do that, and you're gonna get 35.42 inches. All right, actually we only have one more problem, so this lesson isn't as long as I thought. All right, this one, find the perimeter of this figure. Now this is the same thing except we have 2 half circles to add, so it's just a little bit messier, and if you're going to be multiplying it out, it's going to be way messier. So we're going to find this, we're going to go the whole way around. So we want to find this half circle. We want to find just the outside areas of this rectangle that are represented here, and this half circle. So let's go. So let's do the rectangle first. If we straighten this up, it would be 5. If we straightened it down, it would be 5. So this side is going to be 10. A little bit trickier. If we straighten this radius out, it's going to be 4 and 4. So this distance is going to be 8 and 6. So down here we're going to get 14. So let's add all these up. Let's start over here. So this side is 10. The bottom is 14. I'm going to save the circles for last. This section up here is 6. And now we need our 2 half circles. So remember, it's 2 pi r. So it's going to be 2 pi. R is 5 if we do the 5 one first, and we're going to divide it by 2. And then the one with the radius of 4, it's going to be 2 pi times 4 over 2. And these 2's are going to cross out. If we add up our numbers, we're going to get 20 plus 10 is 30, plus 5 pi plus 4 pi. If you want to leave the pi's in the answer, well, that'd be 9 pi, right? 30 plus 9 pi, and we put parentheses around it, and it's in feet, so we're going to put it in feet. If you want to multiply it all out, you can do that. So you get 30 plus 9 times 3.14, and that is going to be 58.26 feet. And those are the 2 different ways you can write your answers. So that is it for lesson 4. Make sure if you have any questions that you go on the communication board and put any questions you might have. Parents can email me, and hopefully you're doing okay on the lesson. Make sure you do the practice problems. Practice problems. That didn't come out so neat. I think my internet's a little behind. So you want to do the practice problems, and the practice problems are the problems before the problem set. All right, that's it. We'll see you in that was lesson 3. We'll see you on lesson 4.